I couldn't believe what Edward was suggesting. The audacity of it all left me speechless, and anger bubbled up inside me like a boiling pot about to spill over. He stood there, so sure of himself, as if my consent didn't matter. "What are you talking about? Weren't you listening?" he asked, his tone serious and unyielding. "I mean, are you serious?" I shot back, incredulous. "You knew this wedding was coming. It's time to start preparations. The wedding is going to be in 2 weeks. So please, let's go downstairs." "Are you crazy? I'm not going anywhere with you. I'm not marrying you, Edward. Just get that through your head and leave me alone. Get out of my room," I exclaimed, frustration and disbelief coloring my voice. "This is my bedroom, just in case you are wondering. I don't care. Just get out. I'm not getting married. We're not even talking. What makes you think that I want to get married to you?" I demanded, my voice rising with every word. "Well, I beg to differ. If you don't want to contribute to this wedding, fine. I'll take care of everything myself," he declared, his tone icy and authoritative. "I'll get you the dress." "Yes? I know your size. I'll get you the shoes that I want you to wear. You'll put on the makeup I want you to put on. You will look how I want. And most importantly, you will come down when I want you to come down to the wedding. And you will smile, and you will say, 'Yes,' and you will have my ring on your finger. Is that understood?" he finished, his voice cold and demanding. I couldn't hold it in anymore. The absurdity of his demand struck me like a punchline in a cruel joke. I burst into hysterical laughter, unable to contain myself. "Oh my God, Edward, you're so funny," I managed to say between fits of laughter. "What makes you think I'll do any of the things that you just said? I won't do any of those things. You can choose the dress, the shoes, the makeup, and the ring. But you're the only one who's going to wear them," I asserted defiantly, staring directly into his eyes. He clenched his jaw, his expression hardening into a mask of frustration and anger. For a moment, I saw a flash of uncertainty in his eyes, but it quickly gave way to determination. "We'll see about that," he muttered, turning on his heel and storming out of the room, leaving me standing there, seething. As the door slammed shut behind him, I realized that the war of wills between us was far from over, and I realized that I'm out of time. 2 weeks. I have to figure out a way out of this. Should I take Elena's proposal? I don't know, but I'm going to get words out of Margaret today. I get out of the door and hear people talking. There's this woman who has a whiny voice who keeps talking about weddings, flowers, and arrangements and shit, and I realize that she's the wedding planner, and I'm not going to go down there. I have to wait until they leave. The only person who is getting married is Edward to himself. Hours later, I watch Edward go on his run, and that's my cue to go down the stairs and talk to Margaret. As usual, she's just moving around in the kitchen, moving things here and there. I don't know how she is always busy when I get in the kitchen. Like, does she listen to people coming into the kitchen and then find things to do? Because that looks like the kind of thing that she does whenever she hears someone coming. I know that we are not on speaking terms ever since she tried to attack me. She did apologize the next morning, in front of Edward, and I know Edward was the one who made her apologize, or else she would never have apologized to me, because by her own words, I am beneath her. And so, although it pains me to be the first person to talk to her, I was also the cause of our fight in the first place, so I swallow my pride. "Margaret," I start tentatively. She turns towards me, her expression guarded but attentive. "I need to talk to you," I continue, choosing my words carefully. Her eyes narrow slightly, and I see a flick of suspicion across her face. She nods slightly, gesturing for me to proceed. "I don't know how to say this. I have a question." I begin, "I thought you could help me." She narrowed her eyes, and I guess it meant that I should continue, so I continued. "I wanted to ask about Elena," I said cautiously. She looked surprised, but then braced herself as she deleted that emotion from her face. Her stance shifted, as if she was preparing for a war, an argument, but that's not what I was thinking. "No, it's nothing bad," I said quickly. I don't know her well. She came to me with a proposal, and I was just wondering what kind of person she is because I don't know her well, and I don't know if I can trust her. So I just wanted to know if I could trust her." "And you thought that you should ask that to me? You should ask me?" Margaret replied, her voice dripping with skepticism. I laughed a little nervously before moving towards her and taking a seat at the kitchen island. It's funny because I don't know who else to ask. I don't have anybody else to ask except Edward, and if I ask Edward, he'll get suspicious, and he'll find out, and I won't be able to ever get out of this house. And I want to get out of this house, but not if I'm in a dead body bag. So I want to know if I can trust Elena. Margaret stared at me for a long moment, her expression unreadable. Finally, she sighed and looked away, her shoulders slumping slightly. Elena is complicated, she began slowly. She's ambitious and determined, and she's not above using people to get what she wants. She's been part of this world for a long time, and she knows how to navigate it. But that doesn't mean she's trustworthy. So you're saying I shouldn't trust her? I asked, trying to understand. I'm saying be careful, Margaret replied. Elena might help you if it benefits her, but you need to be aware that her loyalty lies with herself first and foremost. She'll do whatever she thinks will serve her best interests. If helping you means getting what she wants, she might do it. But if it doesn't... I nodded slowly, processing her words. I understand, I said quietly. Thank you, Margaret. She nodded curtly, turning back to her tasks. Then she suddenly stopped and turned to fully face me with a serious expression on her face. Margaret seemed to be at war with herself before she asked, This proposal that Elena told you about, it's about Edward, isn't it? I didn't affirm it with words, just a slight nod. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to know about it, Margaret continued, her voice firm. Please leave me out of it. The last thing I want to do is break Edward's trust. He wants you in this house, and you as his wife. As much as I hate you, I do not want to go against my alpha. So please, do not involve me in anything that this is. I nodded in understanding. I understand, Margaret. Don't worry. This has nothing to do with you, and I will make sure you stay out of it. Glad we had that out of the way. Now we can continue pretending the other doesn't exist, she said, and shuffled back towards her work. I smiled for the first time because of Margaret as I got out of the chair and moved back towards my bedroom to make a decision. Edward seemed to have made up his mind, insistent on this wedding, and there was no way I was doing that binding ceremony he kept talking about. I have to get away before the wedding. Can I trust Elena? She seems like the only choice for me right now. It's like making a deal with the devil. I don't know what she's planning. Whatever it is, I just hope she is planning to get me away from here, play free, and this decision doesn't come back to haunt me and bite me in the ass. With that decided, now it's time to wait for Elena to seek me out. She told me that she would find me when I had an answer. I wonder how she would know that. But anyway, it's her turn now. Edward keeps on ignoring me once again. The next day, I go into his home office because he's at home. I knock and invite myself in. He is perched on his desk, working on his laptop. Henry is also here. I glance at Henry before looking towards Edward again to show Henry that I do not care much for his presence, but he still talks to me. Miss Reginald, good morning. Good morning, Henry, I say, not looking back at him. Edward, I would like a word, I say, my voice measured. I'm in the middle of something right now, Ruby. Do you mind waiting until later? I do mind, I cut him off. Edward sighs as he wipes his face like he is frustrated and I'm a spoiled child, but I let it go as long as I get to talk to him. Henry, would you mind giving us a few minutes? Edward asks. Henry shoots me a look and gets out of the door. Henry is soon learning his place. He doesn't dictate me. I, however, can dictate his little timetable. Once Henry leaves, I close the door behind him and turn to face Edward. He's still seated at his desk, looking at me with an expression that mixes irritation and curiosity. What is it, Ruby? He asks, folding his hands on the desk. I want to talk about this wedding, I say firmly, walking closer to his desk. What about it? He asks, raising an eyebrow. I'm not doing it, I state bluntly. You don't have a choice, Edward replies, his voice calm but his eyes hardening. I always have a choice, I counter, trying to keep my voice steady. You can't force me into this. Edward stands up, his imposing figure towering over me. Ruby, you will marry me. You will walk down that aisle and you will say, I do. This is not up for debate. I take a step back, feeling a mix of anger and fear. Why, Edward? Why are you so insistent on this? You don't even talk to me anymore. We don't even have a relationship. We don't need to have a relationship for this to happen, he says, his voice cold. You will be my wife, and that's final. I'm not some puppet you can control. I snap, my frustration boiling over. You can't just dictate my life. Edward's eyes flash with anger. You are mine, Ruby. You belong to me, and you will do as I say. I feel a shiver run down my spine at his possessive words. This isn't love, Edward. He steps closer, his eyes boring into mine. Call it whatever you want, but you will marry me. I shake my head, backing away. I won't. I can't. Edward takes a deep breath, trying to regain his composure. Think carefully about your next steps, Ruby. If you defy me, there will be consequences. Edward, you need to stop this wedding madness. I do not want to marry you. I came in here, purposely sought you out to tell you how I feel about this. I know you don't understand this, Ruby, but I'm doing this to protect you. How is bonding me to you going to protect me? It only puts me in more danger. I wish you would be amenable to this so we could talk and I could explain things to you. But since you keep on fighting me, being a struggle, struggling at every turn, I'm going to have to tell you after the wedding. I really wish you hadn't taken this as hard as you have. How were you expecting me to take this? Listen, Edward, if you have ever loved me, I'm talking to the human part in you that has ever had feelings for me. You would just let me go. Please, I plead with him, looking him in the eyes as I try taking his hand in mine. But he takes his hand away from me and looks at me pointedly. I do love you. That's why I'm doing this, he states firmly. You could take me far away, somewhere nobody knows me, and I'm sure if I don't say anything and I lay low, nobody will ever find out. And what about me, Ruby? What happens to me? You will move on. You have Elena. You have your pack. You have your company. What of my heart? I love you, Ruby. As much as you're fighting it, you know inside you that it's true. Edward, look, I just want you to let me go. Let me go. Or else you might force me to do something that... Are you threatening me now, Ruby? No. Are you planning another escape away from me? I can feel his eyes bore into me as I shake my head. No. What would I ever do? How do you think I would get out of here? That's why I'm asking you to just let me go. Edward's eyes narrow as he studies me, his expression a mix of hurt and determination. Ruby, I can't let you go. It's not just about me. There are forces at play that you don't understand. What forces, Edward? Frustration boiling over. What could possibly justify this madness? He sighs deeply, running a hand through his hair. There are things about our world, about my world, that you don't know. Being bonded to me isn't just about love or control. It's about protection. It's about keeping you safe from those who would harm you. I shake my head, feeling exasperated. And you think forcing me into a marriage I don't want is going to keep me safe? It only makes me feel trapped and desperate. Edward's gaze softens slightly. I know it seems that way now, but if you would just trust me. Trust you? I cut him off, my voice rising. How can I trust you when you're taking away my freedom? My choices? This isn't love, Edward. This is imprisonment. For a moment, he looks genuinely pained. Ruby, I never wanted it to be this way, but sometimes we have to do things we don't want to do to protect the people we love. Then show me you love me, I plead, stepping closer. Show me by letting me go. Let me make my own choices, even if you think they're wrong. That's what real love is. Edward's jaw tightens, and I can see the internal struggle in his eyes. I can't, he whispers, barely audible. I can't risk losing you. You're already losing me, I say softly. Every day you keep me here against my will, you're losing more and more of me. He remains silent, not saying anything or sparing me a glance. I turn and walk out of the room, my heart pounding in my chest. I know now more than ever that I need to get out of here. And Elena's offer, no matter how dangerous it seems, might be my only way out. I wake up in the morning to find somebody sitting on my bed. I'm so startled that I nearly scream. Elena looks back at me and smiles. You're such a scaredy cat, she says, her tone light but her eyes sharp. What are you doing here? I ask, my voice trembling slightly from the shock. Relax, Ruby, I came to talk to you. You did say you would have an answer, right? She tilts her head, studying me like a cat watching a mouse. I sit up, trying to steady my breathing. Seth, I didn't expect you to just appear in my room. Well, time is of the essence, darling. We don't have the luxury of waiting around. She crosses her legs elegantly, calm and collected. So, What's the plan? I ask, my voice steadying as I focus on the urgency of the situation. Elena's smile widens, a hint of mischief dancing in her eyes. Straight to the point. I like that. Here's the deal. Edward is not going to let you go willingly. We need to. An accident? I repeat, unsure of where this is going. Yes, something that will make you leave undetected. That way you'll have a chance to escape without him hunting you down immediately. How do we do that? I ask, feeling a mix of hope and dread. I've got a plan, Elena says, leaning in closer. But you have to trust me. It involves some risk, but it's the best shot you've got. I look at her, trying to gauge her sincerity. Elena's smile fades slightly, her expression becoming serious. I nod slowly, realizing that I don't have many options left. Okay, what's the plan? Elena lays out the details, her voice calm and assured. As I listen, I can't help but feel a glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, this will work. And if it does, I'll finally be free from Edward's control. Remember, she says as she finishes explaining, timing is everything. We have to make sure everything goes perfectly. I understand, I reply. I don't want any kind of mess or mistakes, and I want you to know that lives are on the line here, Elena says, her tone serious and unwavering. Since you already agreed, I'm going to go and make sure everything is in order. Just be ready, okay? I nod, feeling the weight of her words. Yes. Don't make me regret this, she replies. I try to match her seriousness with my own resolve. She gives me a pointed look, her eyes narrowing. I won't. Then, just as quickly, her expression shifts back to her usual tone, set one of disdain, as if she's looking at an annoying insect. She stands up, smoothing down her naturally beautiful black hair, and starts to leave. When she reaches the door, Elena looks back at me. The next time we meet is the time to act, so be ready anytime. Why don't you just tell me when so that I can prepare myself? I ask, a hint of frustration in my voice. No, she says firmly. Edward will find out if you're planning anything, and that's the last thing I want. It's better if you're in the dark until the last minute. I sigh, understanding but not liking it. Okay, fine. Elena gives me one last look, one I can't quite decipher, before finally leaving my bedroom. As the door closes behind her, a sense of urgency settles over me. I can only hope that when the time comes, everything will go according to plan. The morning of the wedding dawned bright and clear, a stark contrast to the turmoil inside my mind. I was getting antsy since I hadn't heard a word from Elena. Today was the day and not a word from her. To put it in a nutshell, I was panicking. The house was busy with activities, with staff rushing around, finalizing every detail for the ceremony. I had barely slept, my thoughts consumed with Elena's cryptic warning and the impending escape. Today was the day. I had to get out before Edward could bind me to him forever. As the afternoon wore on, I could feel the tension in the air. Elena was nowhere to be seen, and I started to worry that she had abandoned me, but I still hoped that she would come through. The guests began to arrive, their laughter and chatter filling the halls. I stayed hidden in my room, my heart racing with every passing minute. And then there was a knock on my door. It's time. Elena's voice came through the door, calm and steady. I opened the door to find her standing there, dressed in a simple black dress that seemed out of place among the festive attire of the guests. Her eyes met mine, and I saw a flicker of something that might have been a worry. "Follow me," she said, turning on her heel and striding down the hallway. We moved quickly and quietly, avoiding the bustling staff and oblivious guests. Elena led me to a side door that opened onto a narrow path leading away from the house. As we stepped outside, I could smell the faint scent of gasoline. "Elena, what's going on?" I asked, my voice shaking. "Just trust me," she replied, her tone clipped. "We need a distraction, and this is the only way." We hurried down the path, the house growing smaller behind us. As we rounded a corner, I saw a small shed, its doors slightly ajar. Elena pushed them open, revealing several cans of gasoline and a stack of dry wood. "Help me," she said, handing me a can. Together, we doused the wood with gasoline, the pungent smell stinging my eyes. Elena pulled a lighter from her pocket. "This will create enough chaos to cover your escape," she said, striking the lighter. "Stay close to me." She dropped the lit lighter onto the wood, and it caught immediately, flames roaring to life. The fire spread quickly, fueled by the gasoline, and within moments, the shed was an inferno. "Run!" Elena shouted, grabbing my hand and pulling me away from the blaze. We sprinted back towards the house, the fire casting a glow on the surrounding trees. By the time we reached the back entrance, smoke was already billowing into the sky. The alarm bells started ringing, and I could hear shouts and screams as the guests and staff realized what was happening. Inside the house, chaos reigned. People were running in every direction, trying to find the source of the fire and escape the impending danger. Elena led me through the commotion, her grip on my hand tight. We reached a narrow stairway that led to the basement, and Elena pushed me towards it. "Go. There's a tunnel that leads out of the house. Follow it, and you'll find a car waiting for you at the end. I'll cover your escape." "But what about you?" I asked. "I'll be fine," she said, her eyes hard. "Just go, now." I nodded, swallowing my fear, and hurried down the stairs. The basement was dark and musty, but I found the tunnel easily. I could still hear the commotion upstairs as I made my way through the narrow passage, my heart pounding. When I reached the end of the tunnel, I pushed open the heavy door and closed the door behind me. I looked for the car that Elena said would be there, but I couldn't see it. Maybe it was a bit further away, so I kept going into the woods, trying to spot a car, but nothing was in sight. I suddenly started feeling a shiver, a sudden feeling that someone was tracking me. Something or someone was following me. I remembered Edward's warnings about this world, and I shouldn't be here because of what I had witnessed. And after everything, I started panicking. Elena promised me I would find a car here. Maybe it's somewhere around. But then I felt footsteps behind me, and before I knew it, I started running into the forest. My breath came in short, ragged gasps as I sprinted through the forest, the trees blurring past me. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig sent a jolt of fear through me. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being followed. I pushed myself harder, my legs burning, my lungs aching. The darkness of the woods closed in around me. I had to find the car. I had to get out of here. A few paces forward, and someone shoved me into the ground. I fell hard, hitting my face on the hard ground. I felt a sharp pain in my body. After I gained my composure and turned around, I found Emmanuel, Edward's stepbrother, standing over me with a cruel smile on his face. He looked good in his sharp, classic suit. Maybe he was already at the house, ready for the wedding. He must have come as a guest. I looked at him, surprised. Why was he here? Did Edward send him after me? "What are you doing here?" I asked him. Still shaken, he shook his head with a cruel smile. "Did you really think you could escape that easily, Ruby? Edward was right to be wary of you. Now get up." Fear shot through me as I tried to stand, my legs shaking. "Please, Emmanuel, just let me go. I won't tell anyone." "Let you go?" He laughed, a cruel laugh that did nothing to settle my unease with his sudden appearance. Emmanuel looked back down at me as he kept on shaking his head. "I'm really sorry. I have to do this," he said. "To do what? What are you talking about?" I asked with a frown. I hate this part. I wish Elena was here to do her own job. She is quite the actress, isn't she? He asked me, still laughing and shaking his head in amusement. Shock went through me as I wondered what he meant. "What do you mean, Elena? Did Elena send you? Are you the one who is going to help me? Where is the car?" I asked him as I looked around, hoping I would spot the car that was going to take me to my freedom. He started laughing loudly and cruelly as he kept on shaking his head. "Did you really think Elena was going to help you get out of here? Just how stupid are you?" he asked me, continuing to laugh. I was at a loss for words and what to say. What did he mean? I don't understand. What's going on? Did Edward find out? Are you here to take me to Edward? "Oh, you stupid, stupid human girl. I'm the one who's going to end you." "End me? What do you mean?" Then his face started turning from a cruel smirk to serious and dangerous. I started feeling that Emmanuel was not here to help me. He was a danger to me. "Emmanuel, what's going on?" "What's going on is that you just fucked yourself. Today was supposed to be your wedding day. But, plot twist, today is going to be the day you die," he announced. Panic surged through me as I realized the depth of my situation. Elena's promise of escape was a cruel ruse, and now I was trapped with no one to save me. How could she do this to me while I was ready to give her everything she wanted? We had a deal. I should have known better. Emmanuel's cruel smile widened as he held me, and I knew I had to fight back if I had any hope of surviving. No, it can't be right, I responded, shaking my head. I still couldn't come to terms with Elena's betrayal. Elena lied to you, he interjected. Did you really think that she was going to help you get out of here? How would that even help her in the grand scheme of things? You know, I told Elena that her plan wouldn't work, that you wouldn't trust her given all that had happened, how she tried to kill you in the woods, in the forest, that you wouldn't dare set foot here again, not by yourself. But I underestimated her and overestimated you. No, it can't be right. She just wants to get married to Edward. If I leave, then she's free to be with him. Why would she want to kill me? Because when you leave here, Edward is going to stop at nothing to find you. You don't know how determined Edward can be, how he always gets what he wants. We just can't take the chance that he might find you. He spitted the words with loathing. You don't like your brother, do you? I found myself saying. He thinks he knows better, and that he owns everything. But I have been biding my time, and I am going to get what is rightfully mine sooner or later. Not too bad, you won't be there to see it. I just realized that Emmanuel and Edward have their own sibling rivalry that I did not want to get into right now. What I cared about was surviving. And I just realized I should have listened to Edward when he told me to stay away from this forest, and I just brought myself here by trusting a snake that never hid its fangs. Emmanuel kept on talking. Elena planned this to the T. We all had to be at the house. We all had to be seen at all times when you disappear, because we both know that the first person who is going to be suspected is going to be Elena. And who is Elena's accomplice? Me. So we had to be very careful while planning your disappearance. I didn't disappear. You kidnapped me, I shouted accusingly. I stared at him, my heart pounding. This was a trap, and I had walked right into it. You came of your own free will. No one forced you out of your precious room. Nobody forced you to open that door and come into the forest. This was all your own doing. You tricked me. Elena and I had a deal, and she went against her words. How can you trust anything she says? He laughed again at my attempt to raise suspicion. We had to be very careful because we couldn't let anybody else into our plans. Just Elena and I, taking care of things, he said, but I cut him off. Margaret knows. She's been letting Elena into the house. When I get lost and Edward starts looking for me, he's going to ask her if she knows anything, and she's going to out Elena. Your plan has loopholes. Emmanuel laughed even harder. Oh my God, you really think we would trust that old witch? That Edward's lapdog? She would listen to anything Edward says. Why would we trust her? This plan is just between me and Elena. It's bigger and better. The rewards are tremendous. A small human brain like yours wouldn't understand. But we have to get rid of you. You are the only loophole. Elena wanted to do this herself, but given that she has to be at the house now, I will have to do the honors. She can't be here, so I have to do it, but I really, really wish she could. She would have loved to be the one to do this, he said as he looked at the sky with a longing look on his face. My body went into full survival mode. Emmanuel was crazy. He was a maniac. He already tried to kill me once, and this time, nobody was coming to save me. I had to fight. So I took him by surprise when I suddenly pushed him with all my strength and started running in the other direction, hoping I could find my way back to the Blackwoods estate. I had to run back to Edward. He was the only way for me to survive right now. I dashed through the underbrush, branches scratching at my skin, my breath coming in ragged gasps. Emmanuel's footsteps thundered behind me, growing closer. The forest was a maze, but I had to keep moving, had to find a way out. Every step felt like a fight for my life. As I ran, I heard Emmanuel cursing behind me, his voice filled with rage. "You can't run forever, Ruby," he shouted. "There's no escape for you." I was tired, breathing hard, and lost. As I stood in the middle of the forest trying to navigate my surroundings, suddenly arms went around me, holding me tight against a hard, strong body. I started hearing people talking from afar, and as I prepared myself to scream, those hands covered my mouth. He pinched my mouth closed, and then a voice whispered in my ear, slowly and calmly, but somehow also threatening. "Shh! Do not make a sound," the voice warned, hands tightening. A few minutes later, there were footsteps as the voices got closer and clearer, They were talking about the wedding as they passed nearby. I wanted to thrash, scream, and beg for help, but Emmanuel held me so tightly that it became painful. He was too strong for me. I wondered who those people were. After the footsteps had faded, Emmanuel turned me around towards him and looked at me. I had managed to make him break a sweat. Wow, I see now what Edward sees in you. You nearly reached the bayou and destroyed everything. I didn't know what he meant, but I had done a little research on werewolves, though I doubted my research was reality. The bayou? You mean your community? You would have destroyed everything if you had shown up there, he said, looking at his watch. I have taken too long. People will start looking for me, and if Edward finds out I wasn't with them, this might get me into trouble. I have to get rid of you fast, but we're already near the bayou now. I started panicking, feeling that I was about to die. I'm going to have to dispose of you until later. Plus, it will be even better because Elena would finally get to have her piece of you. She would be delighted when she finds out I saved you for her. Then he grabbed my upper arm and started leading me through the forest. A few paces later, we found a little hut. He pushed me inside. When I got in, he took ropes and tied me to a log that was holding the hut together. He stuffed clothes into my mouth and tied it shut, binding my hands and legs to the log tightly. He straightened himself, looking down at me. "Stay there." Then he smiled cruelly and left me. I guessed he was going back to the house to show himself so people wouldn't notice he had been gone this whole while. I stayed there as the rope cut into my skin while I struggled to break free. I had cried into the rag in my mouth until I was thirsty and parched, my throat sore, and my tears dried. I was a mess from the running, the shoving into the ground, and the exhaustion. To add to all of that, I knew that my death was in my near future. Edward must be looking for me right now. Elena is probably playing the victim, biding her time until she can come and end me. Why did I trust her? That was the worst mistake. Edward. I don't know how I got myself into this mess, but it all comes back to Edward, doesn't it? I wouldn't be here if it weren't for him. I wish I had tears left, but they've already dried. There's nothing to cry with or for right now. I'm just waiting for my death, regretting all the choices that led me to this moment. If I could change any part of my story, it would be the night I met Edward or when I decided to trust Elena. None of this makes sense. Why would Emmanuel help Elena get rid of me? What did he mean when he said there was more to this than I thought? He's Edward's stepbrother, but I know they don't get along. What does he gain from helping Elena? But there are no answers for me, and no one to answer them except waiting for my impending doom. I kept slipping in and out of consciousness, likely from hitting my head harder than I realized. The rush of adrenaline from running through the forest and facing imminent danger must have taken its toll. Suddenly, I heard footsteps outside the hut. Immediately, I wanted to scream for help, but I hesitated. What if it was Emmanuel or someone else sent to finish me off? I couldn't tell the time, but judging by the fading light, nightfall wasn't far off, and with it, I feared my death would come. The footsteps drew nearer, quickening my heartbeat. Then, the door creaked open, and a figure entered slowly, leaning on a cane. Relief washed over me. It couldn't be Elena or Emmanuel. They wouldn't use a cane. The elderly man looked at me with a mix of surprise and inner conflict, his expression unreadable. He seemed torn, and I couldn't determine if he was friend or foe. Eventually, he turned to leave, shaking his head in what seemed like sympathy or disappointment. Desperate for help, I began thrashing and shaking to catch his attention. He paused, glanced back towards the door, and then reluctantly approached me. With deliberate movements, he removed the gag from my mouth. As soon as it was out, I rasped, "Water, please. Can I have some water?" He regarded me with sadness and sympathy before heading back towards the door. "Please don't leave. Help me," I pleaded, but he didn't turn back, continuing outside. I was crestfallen, yet relieved that at least I could now use my voice to call for help. A few minutes later, while I kept shouting, my voice did not make a lot of noise because I was so perched and my throat was too sore. The elderly man came back with a bottle of water and helped me drink the water by putting the bottle into my mouth. I started drinking hungrily, but he took the bottle away from me and then put it back in my mouth again. If I drank hungrily, he would take it away. I drank the whole bottle, and when I was done, He closed the lid, looked back at me, and started leaving again. I couldn't help it. I shouted at him, "Please help me. Please unbound me. Please, I plead." He looked back towards me and shook his head. "No, please help me. I'm begging you to help me." I cried out, but he went on his way. While I cried after him, "Help me. Please help me. Somebody help me." I kept on shouting. It must have been hours or minutes later. I couldn't tell, but it had already gotten dark when 2 pairs of footsteps were running towards me as I kept on shouting for help every time I thought I had enough strength to. Suddenly, a man and a woman got into the hut with hurried footsteps. My heart started beating faster because I knew it had to be Elena and Emmanuel, and they had come to finish me off, to finish their job. The man spoke. "What the fuck?" he asked in shock. And that's when I realized it wasn't Emmanuel, it wasn't his voice. It was more raspy and more darker. The woman behind him asked, "Who is this? What is she doing here?" Standing behind the man. The man then came towards me and shined a light into my face. "Oh, hell no," he said. "What is it?" she asked. "It's the bride," the man announced. "What do you mean the bride? You mean Edward's runaway bride?" "Yes, the bride who disappeared." "Well, she's not disappeared, right? She's here," the woman said as she got from behind the man and started heading towards me. "She is kind of cute, even though she is in a worse state. Hey, what's your name?" she finally asked me. "It's Ruby. Please help me." I finally answered. Even though I was still wary, I didn't know which side these people were. "How did you get here?" the man asked, his eyes narrowing in suspicion. "It's Elena and Emmanuel," I blurted out, my voice trembling with desperation. "They lied to me to get me out of the house and then kidnapped me. They're going to kill me. Please help me." The man growled, deep in thought. The woman standing behind him spoke up, her voice gentle but firm. "We should help her." "I don't know," the man muttered, indecision flickering in his eyes. My heart pounded faster, panic rising within me. "Please, please, please, just help me," I begged, tears streaming down my face. "Come on, let's help her," the woman urged. "The Alpha will be mad if he realizes we found her and didn't do anything." "Elena is my sister. If Edward finds out about this, he already promised wrath. He might kill her. I can't let him kill her." The man gritted out as he stared at me. "Why would Elena do such a stupid thing?" the man grumbled. "I already told her to give up on Edward. He has already met his mate. But Elena doesn't listen. She likes to think she knows it all." "So what do we do?" the woman asked, both of them staring at me. "Please, they're going to kill me," I pleaded again, my voice cracking with fear. The woman took the man's hand and pulled him aside, whispering urgently. The man kept shaking his head, clearly conflicted. After what felt like an eternity, they returned. "If I'm going to help you, you must do everything I tell you," the man said, his voice hard. "Yes, please, anything. Just help me get out of here," I responded eagerly. "You will have to disappear. Elena won't stop, and when Edward finds out, he's going to kill her. The only way is to make you disappear. Go as far away from here as possible. I never want to see you again. With you lost, so is the evidence. Do not ever come back here. If you do and anything happens to Elena, you will deal with me," the man growled, his eyes hard, maintaining eye contact. I knew he was trying to intimidate me, but I didn't care. I just wanted to be far away from this nightmare. "I understand," I whispered. "Just help me get away." The man nodded, a reluctant resolve settling in his eyes. "Let's get you out of here," he said. "Is there anywhere you can go? Is there anyone who can help you?" he asks urgently, as the woman carefully unbinds me from the ropes and helps me to my feet. "Yes, my best friend Zaria," I reply quickly, my voice trembling with relief. "No, we can't leave any trace. You can't contact anyone from your life that Edward will look for." The woman interjects firmly. "You must go far away, somewhere no one would think to look for you. Do you understand?" "Yes, I understand," I nod, feeling the weight of the situation sinking in. "Okay, I'll help you get out of the city. Then we'll arrange a new passport and a new identity for you. Change your appearance as much as you can," the man advises, his tone urgent yet reassuring. "You need to disappear so thoroughly that even Edward won't find you." "I will help you," he assures me, determination in his voice as they guide me out of the secluded hut. We walk for what feels like miles until we finally reach a battered old truck. They assist me inside, covering me with worn coveralls. "You'll have to stay hidden in the back," the woman explained softly. I can't risk being seen. If the Alpha discovers our involvement, it means certain death. I understand, I murmur gratefully, blindly placing my trust in these strangers. They climb into the front seats, and the engine roars to life. As we pull onto the road, uncertainty eats at me once more. Yet, for now, all I can do is trust and hope that this desperate gamble will lead me to safety. And so, enveloped in the stifling darkness of the truck's cargo hold, I cling to the fleeting hope that these strangers are indeed my saviors, not betrayers waiting for the right moment to strike. Time seems to stretch endlessly as we traverse through the night, each mile bringing me farther from the danger I left behind, yet closer to an uncertain future. The truck jerks to a stop abruptly, jolting me from my thoughts. The woman's voice, filled with urgency, breaks through the silence. We're here. This is as far as we can go. They open the cargo doors carefully, and the dim streetlights show an ordinary alley in an unknown part of the city. Feeling both thankful and nervous, I follow them out into the cool night air. We've arranged for someone to meet you here, the man explains, handing me a small bundle containing essentials. A new phone, some cash, and a set of instructions written hastily on a piece of paper. From here on, you're on your own. Remember what we told you. Change your appearance, stay off the grid, and don't trust anyone too easily. I nod, swallowing hard against the lump in my throat. Their faces blur in the dim light as they get back to the truck, leaving me standing alone, clutching my new life as the truck disappears from view. I contemplate waiting for the mysterious contact. And in the end, I decided to take fate into my own hands and stop waiting for people to make it for me. So far, I have been betrayed, and people have shattered my trust. It's time I made decisions on my own without being dictated by someone else. So I started heading towards the gas station. Turning away from the alley, I set out towards the nearby gas station, my steps quickening with purpose, hoping to catch a truck that would offer me a ride north. As I approach the station, I spot a few vehicles, their occupants bustling about. With cautious optimism, I approach a driver refueling a rugged cargo truck, mustering the courage to ask for a ride. Excuse me, I begin slowly, my voice betraying the urgency within. Are you heading north? I'm looking for a ride. The driver casts a curious glance my way, assessing me with caution. After a moment's hesitation, he nods slowly. Yeah, I'm headed that way. Hop in. Relief floods through me as I climb into the passenger seat, my heart pounding. As the truck rumbles to life and merges onto the highway, I steal a glance back at the fading lights of the city, leaving behind the shadows of my past in pursuit. After passing through several states, constantly changing tracks and hitching rides to avoid leaving a mark somewhere, I finally arrived 5 states away from where my journey began. The fear of being tracked have kept me on edge, but now I finally take a moment to breathe. In a small town in the middle of rolling hills, I decide it's time to pause and plan my next move. I cautiously begin the process of forging a new identity. I secure documents, carefully crafted to erase my past and hide my trail. I blend into the community, keeping a low profile while preparing for the next journey that will hopefully be my new home. After a few days of careful negotiation and navigating through different connections, I finally secured a new passport and identification. On the first available day, armed with my new identity, I resume my travels. I borrow cars cautiously, always checking the legitimacy of the documents, until I am finally able to purchase a ticket out of the country. At airport security, I feel very nervous as I show my documents. I'm relieved when they let me through. Boarding the plane feels strange, a mix of freedom and fear as I leave my old life for an unknown future. When the plane lands in a new country, I feel the possibilities ahead of me. This is the start of my new life, driven by need and a desire for a fresh start. I still hope years later I will be able to go back home and see my parents and my friends again. Hoping Edward would have moved on and Elena won't try to kill me anymore. I realized as I settled into the new town that I had used almost all of the money that had been given to me to start my new life. Getting the new identities, the passport, and traveling here had taken a lot of money. Now, as I checked into a motel and looked for an affordable apartment, I realized I needed to find a job quickly to stay afloat. My plan was to lay low, get to know a few important people, and live under the radar to avoid drawing any suspicions about me or my past. I had created a story about why I was here, and following the advice given to me by the person who helped me with my identity, I knew I had to change locations every few years to avoid being tracked down. But I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that. I just wanted to find a place to stay and build a life before going back home. It felt like living a life on the run. The next morning, I went to the diner and asked if they had a job for me as a waitress. The waitress I spoke to told me to see the manager in the back office and let me in. "Hi, I'm looking for a job as a waitress," I said when I entered the manager's office. The manager, a middle-aged woman with glasses, looked up from her paperwork. "We could use some extra help. Do you have any experience?" "A bit," I lied. "I'm a fast learner and very hardworking." She looked at me for a moment and then nodded. "All right, we can give you a trial shift starting tomorrow. Be here at 8 a.m. sharp. We'll see how you do." "Thank you so much," I said, feeling relieved. As I left the office, I felt a small spark of hope. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Now, I just needed to find a place to live and take things one day at a time. The next morning, I found my way to the diner and met the waitress, who told me the manager was waiting for me in the back office. When I went to meet her, we finally introduced ourselves. "I am Mrs. Smith, and you are?" "Maggie." "Nice to meet you, Maggie," Mrs. Smith said with a smile. "Let's get you started. Follow me, and I'll show you around." She led me through the diner, pointing out where everything was: the kitchen, the supply closet, the break room. She introduced me to a few of the other staff members, who seemed friendly enough. "We'll start you off with some basic tasks," Mrs. Smith explained. "Just follow Sarah here, and she'll show you the ropes." I spent the morning learning how to take orders, serve food, and clean tables. It was busy, but I managed to keep up. By the end of my shift, I was exhausted but also a little proud of myself. "How do you feel?" Mrs. Smith asked when I returned to the office. "Tired, but good," I replied honestly. "Good," she said with a nod. "You did well today. We'll keep you on for now. Be here again tomorrow at 8 a.m. "Thank you," I said, relief washing over me once more. As I walked out of the diner, I felt that small spark of hope grow a little brighter. I had a job now, and it was a start. A week into working at the diner, I'd become somewhat friendly with Sarah, and the manager seemed like a good person. The tips weren't great, though, and they weren't enough. I realized that working at the diner alone wasn't going to cut it. I needed to find a second job if I had any hope of moving forward in this new life. My apartment had a lot of issues. It was cheap, but the manager was a creep, and many things didn't work. It wasn't a great place to live. One slow afternoon at the diner, I sat by a table, looking through job listings and newspaper clippings, trying to find a second job. Sarah walked by and saw what I was doing. "Hey, Maggie, what are you doing?" "Nothing, just trying to look for a second job." "You don't know anywhere that's hiring, do you?" "I live in a crappy apartment, and it's terrible." "Oh? Where do you live?" I gave her the directions and told her I liked it because it was very close to the diner, so I didn't have to take a bus or anything. It was just a short walk, but the place was falling apart. "Oh, you live there? You should have told me. I could have gotten you a much better apartment. That place is always open because once someone lives there, they never want to stay." "Yeah, but with the money I'm making right now, I don't think I can afford to move. I already paid 6 months' rent." Sarah looked sorry for me and thought for a few minutes. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment. I could maybe lease you the second bedroom. It's not very fancy, but it's a whole lot better than the place you're living right now. But given your current financial situation, maybe I could lend you." "Oh, no, Sarah. I don't want... We've just known each other for, 3-4 days. I can't start taking money from you. You're not taking. I'm just going to lend it to you and you can pay me back." "With the money I'm making right now, I don't know. But how much is the rent? How much would I have to pay?" Sarah thought for a few minutes and then said, "I don't know if I should tell you this." "What?" "Look, when we get off work, why don't you tag along with me? I want to show you something." What is it?" "Come on, I'll tell you later, okay?" "Okay, fine. Thanks, Sarah." "Oh no, I haven't even done anything yet. Come with me after work, and then you can tell me how you feel about the whole thing. All right, I will. Sarah smiled mysteriously. You'll see. It's not far. We walked a few blocks, chatting about work and random things. Eventually, we reached an apartment building that looked much nicer than the one I was living in. Sarah led me inside and up a couple of flights of stairs. This is where I live, she said, opening the door to a cozy 2-bedroom apartment. Come in. I stepped inside, taking in the clean, well-kept space. It wasn't fancy, but it was worlds better than my current place. Sarah showed me the second bedroom, which was small but comfortable. So what do you think? She asked. It's really nice, I said, feeling a little overwhelmed, but I don't know if I can afford it right now. Sarah nodded. I understand. That's why I wanted to show you something else. Come with me. We left Sarah's apartment, and as we got downstairs, she headed towards a car. Hey, is that yours? I asked. Yeah, it's mine. I need it for work. Oh, you have a second job? Yeah. How else do you think I could afford that apartment by myself? Come on, let's go. Where are we going? I want to show you where I work at night, she said seriously, then giggled as she got in. I frowned as I climbed inside. What do you do? Hey, stop exaggerating. Let's just go, and then you'll tell me how you feel about the whole thing. And if you're not comfortable, it's fine. It's not for everyone. We can look for something normal, okay? Normal? I asked, confused. Come on, she said as she started the car. A few minutes later, she parked, and when we got out, I looked at the building in front of us. It was a nightclub. Yeah, I know. Come on, let's go inside, she urged. Memories of meeting Edward in a nightclub flashed through my mind. I didn't know why, but I felt hesitant, even though I had been to nightclubs before without any problems. Come on, what? Are you okay? She asked, noticing my hesitation. It's okay if you want to go back. It's not even my time to come after work, but I thought you could meet the manager and see the place. There are already a few people here, so you can see if you're comfortable with it. I stood there pondering for a few minutes, then decided, okay, fine. When you say normal, it's not like it's a sex club or anything, is it? Sarah burst out laughing. Oh my God, Maggie, you're crazy. No, it's not a sex club. Come on. We had to pass security to get in, but Sarah knew everybody, so she smiled and said hi to everyone. Hey, this is my friend Maggie. She's looking to get a job here. Oh, hey Maggie, come in. They greeted warmly. As I walked in, I was surprised. For a small town, it was a really huge club with a great setting. The place was amazing. The music was already playing, and a few people were mingling around. The lighting was low, with colorful lights dancing around the room, creating a vibrant atmosphere. Sarah led me through the club, pointing out different areas, the bar, the dance floor, and a few private booths. We made our way to the back, where she knocked on a door marked Manager. A moment later, a tall, strong, fit man, but still looking classy, opened the door. Hey, Sarah, who's this? He asked. This is my friend Maggie. She's looking for a second job, and I thought she might be a good fit here, Sarah explained. The manager, who introduced himself as Tom, invited us into his office. So, Maggie, what kind of work are you looking for? He asked. I'm open to anything, really. I just need to make some extra money to get by, I replied. Tom nodded. Well, this is an elite exclusive club, so we have high standards. We need servers for waitressing, and it's crucial that you have the right paperwork. Do you have your ID and any work permits you might need? Yes, I have my ID. I can get any other paperwork needed, I said. Good. You'll also need to go through some training before you start. Our members expect top-notch service, so it's important you're well prepared. Can you come in tomorrow night around 7 for the training? Yes, I can do that. Thank you so much. As we left Tom's office, Sarah grinned at me. See? That wasn't so bad. Yeah, it wasn't. Thanks for helping me out, Sarah. No problem. Now let's get out of here. It's still early, and we both need to rest before tomorrow. We left the club and headed back to her car. As we drove back to the diner, I felt a mix of excitement and nervousness about the new job. But for the first time in a while, I felt like things might actually start looking up. Sarah took me back to the diner as she headed back to her place because she needed to rest before she went to work at the nightclub later. As she left me there, I stood there for a while as I thought about this new work at the nightclub. Was it really a smart move, considering I was hiding? But I was desperate, and as we came from the nightclub, Sarah told me about the pay and the tips, and just from the tips alone, if what she said is true, I could be out of that crappy apartment if I worked for a week. This is something that just made me hesitant. Was this really the right type of environment someone like me should take? But then again, who is going to give a second look at a waitress who was giving them drinks while they were drinking themselves to a stupor? I'll just do it for a while I keep looking for something better to do, I decided as I started heading back to my crappy apartment. I headed to the diner the next day, and Sarah didn't come in, which was normal. She typically had that day off since she only worked 5 days a week and never worked weekends. It was a Saturday. I completed my shift and left early, feeling a bit nervous about my upcoming new job coming up at the nightclub. I've never waitressed before. It was my first time at the diner, and now I have to do it at the nightclub. I didn't know if I could handle it, but I knew I had to try. Sarah told me they had uniforms, so I just needed to wear jeans or a t-shirt, something comfortable, and change when I got to the nightclub. It usually opened at 10, but since it was my first time and there was training and details to go over, I had to be there at 7. I struggled with myself, debating whether to call Sarah for a pep talk. I managed to get some sleep, and at 6:30, as I was getting ready, Sarah's call came in. I was relieved and happy to see her name on the phone screen, so I quickly picked up. "Hey, hello," I greeted eagerly. "Hey," Sarah replied warmly. "I just wanted to check in before your big night," Sarah said with a reassuring tone. "Are you feeling okay about everything?" "Yeah, I think so," I replied, trying to sound confident. "I'm a bit nervous, but I'll manage." "You'll do great, Maggie. Remember, it's just like serving at the diner, but with a different crowd and atmosphere. The training will help you get the hang of things." "I hope so," I said, feeling a mix of anticipation and apprehension. "Just stay calm and confident." "You've got this," Sarah encouraged. "Thanks, Sarah. I really appreciate your support." "Don't worry," Sarah reassured me. "If there's any problem during your shift, I'll be right there in the same building. Just come up to me, and I'll assist you." "That's reassuring to hear," I said gratefully. "I wish we could go together, but you have to be there by yourself for the training," Sarah continued. "I'll be at work at 9, so I'll see you there, okay?" "Okay, sounds good," I replied, feeling a bit more at ease. "All good?" Sarah asked. "Yes, all good," I confirmed. "Okay, see you later then, babe." "Okay, bye," I said, hanging up with a smile, feeling supported and ready for the night ahead. I took a deep breath to calm my nerves and finished getting ready. As I headed out, the city buzzed with Saturday night energy, adding to my anticipation. Arriving at the nightclub, I found it quiet before opening hours. The training session began promptly at 7, and I met Tom, the manager, who reiterated the club's high standards and the importance of customer service. Throughout the training, I absorbed as much as I could, learning about the menu, the layout of the club, and the protocols for serving in such an environment. Tom was patient and encouraging, which helped ease my initial jitters. By the end of the session, I felt more prepared, though still a bit nervous about the night ahead. As 9 o'clock approached, Sarah arrived for her shift at the nightclub Z. She greeted me with a warm smile and a reassuring pat on the shoulder. "You're going to do great, Maggie. Just remember what I told you earlier. If you need anything, just come find me." "Thanks, Sarah. I appreciate it," I replied, feeling grateful for her support. With a final pep talk from Sarah, I took a moment to gather my confidence before the doors opened at 10. The night stretched ahead of me, filled with possibilities and challenges, but I was ready to face them head-on. The nightclub started filling up quickly once the doors opened. The energy was electric, and the music pulsed through the room. I donned my uniform and took a deep breath, reminding myself of Sarah's advice and the training I'd received. My first few interactions were a bit awkward as I navigated the bustling environment, but I soon found my rhythm. I served drinks, took orders, and tried to stay composed amid the chaos. Occasionally, I'd catch sight of Sarah, who gave me encouraging nods and smiles, which boosted my confidence. Around midnight, the club was at its peak, and I was fully immersed in my work. The clientele was demanding but generally friendly, and I managed to keep up with the pace. The tips were flowing, just as Sarah had promised, and I began to feel a sense of accomplishment. During a brief lull, I took a moment to catch my breath near the bar. Sarah approached me, a satisfied grin on her face. "You're doing great, Maggie. How are you holding up?" "I'm okay," I replied, wiping a bit of sweat from my forehead. "It's intense, but I'm getting the hang of it." "That's the spirit," she said, giving me a pat on the back. "Just a few more hours and you'll be done with your first night. Keep it up." As the night continued, I grew more confident in my role. By the time my shift ended, I was exhausted but exhilarated. I had survived my first night at the nightclub, and it felt like a significant step forward. Tom approached me as I was getting ready to leave. "Good job tonight, Maggie. You handled it well for your first shift." "Thank you, Tom," I said, genuinely appreciative. "See you tomorrow night?" he asked. "Yes, I'll be here," I confirmed, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. I was glad when I opened the back door and found Sarah waiting for me. "Hey, you waited," I said, feeling a surge of gratitude. "Yeah, I knew you needed a ride since you don't have a car yet," she replied. "Don't worry, for the next few weeks I'll give you a ride. And since we're going to be roommates, it's better if we share a car instead of you calling a taxi or anything." "Thanks, Sarah. You've been such a great friend and a great help ever since I got here. I don't know how to repay you." "Don't worry about it, Maggie. It's okay. We girls should stick together." "Yeah, we should," I agreed. For some reason, tears started pouring from my eyes. Sarah came over and hugged me. Hey, it's okay. Calm down, okay? It's okay." I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening to me. I'm not a crier," I said, letting her go and wiping the tears from my eyes. "Yeah, we should go. It's exhausting, and I still have to be at the diner tomorrow morning." "Hey, about that," Sarah suggested. "You should talk to Mrs. Smith about not working on weekends. The diner doesn't get a lot of customers on weekends, and the nightclub is usually really busy then because it's closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. So I think you should work on that." "Okay, I'll see what I can do with Mrs. Smith, but she's expecting me tomorrow, so I have to be at work." "All right, let me take you to your place, my future roommate," she said with a giggle. I smiled at that, and with that, we both got into the car. As we got into the car in silence, Sarah fiddled with the radio and then gave up. She gave me a side eye with a wicked smile as she said, "So Tom gave you the training himself?" I looked at her, puzzled, as I was lost in my own thoughts. "Yeah, he was really nice. It's great to have such a good boss." "Yeah, he's really good and handsome, isn't he?" she said with a sly grin. "Yeah, I guess. I mean, I haven't really thought about him in that way. I have a lot of stuff going on right now." "Yeah, but he is a good-looking man. He's fit, he's handsome, and he's the owner of the club." "Oh, he's the owner?" I asked, surprised. "Yeah, and he doesn't usually give trainees their training, so I was very surprised to find out that he was the one who trained you. We're usually given an older, maybe assistant manager to help us with the training, but he gave you the training himself," she said curiously. "So, what else did you talk about?" "Oh, Sarah, you're barking up the wrong tree. We didn't talk about anything except work. When I got there, I gave him my identification. He made me sign papers, and then we got into training around the building. Nothing else. We didn't talk about anything personal. My mind is just not clear right now." "Okay," she said, still smiling. "What's up with you?" I asked her. "I don't know. It's just that Tom has never taken an interest in an employee or a female before," she remarked, her curiosity piqued. I frowned but didn't want to get into it. "Oh, I'm too tired to go into that, Sarah." "Okay, maybe we'll gossip tomorrow then," she said with a laugh. I looked forward and saw that we had reached my place. "Thanks for the ride, Sarah," I said as I got out of the car. "No problem, Maggie. Get some rest," she replied with a warm smile. I waved goodbye and headed inside, my mind buzzing with thoughts about the night's events. As I settled into my bed, I reminded myself that I needed to talk to Mrs. Smith about adjusting my work schedule at the diner. With so much to think about, I eventually drifted off to sleep. The next day, I felt like a zombie at work. It was a great thing that it was a slow day, so I couldn't say I slacked off, but I felt so drained and tired. During my break, Mrs. Smith asked me into her office. "Hey, Maggie, how's everything going? How are you? Liking the environment at work?" "It's okay. Everything is fine. I was actually hoping to talk to you," I replied. "Oh, What is this about? Because I asked you into the office and you seemed out of it. I thought you might be coming down with something and might need to go home or go to the hospital." No, it's just that I got a second job." "Oh, really? Where at?" she asked, curious. "At a nightclub," I admitted. "I needed to make some extra money because my current pay isn't enough to cover my expenses." Mrs. Smith nodded thoughtfully. "I see. Well, I understand that everyone has their own financial needs. How is this affecting your work here, though?" "I was hoping I could adjust my schedule a bit," I said, a bit nervously. "The nightclub is really busy on weekends, and they don't open on Mondays and Tuesdays. I was wondering if I could have weekends off here and work more during the weekdays." Mrs. Smith considered this for a moment. "Well, the diner isn't very busy on weekends anyway. I think we can work something out. How about you work a few more hours during Mondays and Tuesdays to make up for it?" "That sounds perfect. Thank you so much, Mrs. Smith," I said, relief washing over me. "No problem, Maggie. Just make sure you take care of yourself and don't overdo it. I don't want you burning out," she advised. "I will. Thank you again," I said, feeling grateful as I left her office. I went to work the next day at 9, and Sarah came to pick me up. We went together, and I wanted to be a bit early since I was the newbie. When we got there, I was told that Tom had asked for me, and I should go see him in his office. I wondered what that was about as I walked towards his office. When I got there, he greeted me with a warm smile and invited me inside. Come on. Why are you so nervous? Get in," he said. I went in and sat in the chair opposite him as he looked at the papers in front of him. "Okay, so I think I have everything in order, and I think you did well, but I still wanted to talk to you so you could tell me what you thought about your work yesterday. Was everything okay? Did you encounter any challenges? Is there anything you would like to talk about?" I smiled back at him. "No, everything was okay. It was my first time, so I was a bit nervous, but so far it was great. Everything was fine." "Great, I'm happy to hear that," he said, giving me a warm smile. And I don't know why, but I suddenly remembered what Sarah told me yesterday about his looks. I had to agree, he was good-looking. In his late 30s, he seemed like a great guy. He must be married, but I pushed that thought aside and focused back on our discussion, finding him looking at me with a look I couldn't decipher. "What?" I asked him. "Nothing, it's okay. I guess we're done here. You should go get ready," he said, dismissing me. I stood up, gave him a small nod, and left his office, feeling a mix of emotions. As I walked out, I couldn't help but feel that there was something more behind his look, but I decided to focus on getting ready for my shift. Sunday went okay. I was still a newbie, learning the ropes. I made a few mistakes, broke a glass, and mixed up 2 orders, but overall, the clients were cool about it and the bus was cold, so it wasn't too bad. As we were finishing up and closing the club, Tom came out from the back office and clapped his hands to gain everyone's attention. "So guys, tomorrow is Marcus's birthday," Tom announced, prompting everyone to start clapping and cheering. "How much are we counting?" Tom asked him. "Who's turning 24, baby?" "You know it," Marcus, the young male bartender, replied with a grin. Tom smiled and said, "We're going to throw a party for you. We don't open tomorrow, so we're going to do a little thing for you here at the club. So guys, it's going to be from 8 to 10. We won't be open to the public, so it's just for us. Don't invite everybody. Just come by yourselves and don't drink all of my liquor and run me out of business," he joked, making everyone laugh. "Okay, folks, I'll let you go home now," Tom finished and headed back to his office. Sarah came over to me. "So you'll be coming, right?" she asked. "I don't know. I was really hoping I could get some sleep tomorrow," I replied hesitantly. "It's only 8 to 10. Come on. It's going to be fun, and it'll be good to connect with your coworkers and everything," she insisted. "Okay, fine," I agreed, giving in. "Great. I'll pick you up." "Come on, let's go," she said, taking my hand as we headed back towards the staff room. That Monday, I was really spent and had planned to go to work at the diner and then head straight to bed since those were the only 2 days I could really sleep. But I had already agreed to go to the party, and Sarah was already in my apartment. She had gone through my clothes and concluded that nothing I had was fitting for the occasion. "Come on, it's not like there's going to be anybody important there. Why can't I just wear a t-shirt and jeans? I protested. It's a party, Maggie. You need to dress up a little, Sarah insisted. Okay, fine. You know what? Let's just go to my apartment and get you a dress, something black and cute. Let's go, we're running late, she said. Maybe I shouldn't go. Just go without me. I tried, attempting to plop back on the bed, but before I could, Sarah grabbed hold of me and helped me stand. No way are you getting out of this. Did you hide your clothes so you wouldn't have to go? She teased. Of course not, I replied half-heartedly. I don't know, she said, pulling me out of my apartment. We went back to her place, where she handed me a short black dress that reached just above my knees. We then headed to the party. Although Tom had said not to invite everybody, the place was already packed. It wasn't a working day, but you wouldn't tell from the people here. Everyone was having fun, and it was a great turnout. We were a bit late, but early enough for cake and gifts. We danced a little, talked a little, and Sarah introduced me to more people. It turned out to be a great night. Even though I was hoping to catch up on sleep, it was nice to let go and enjoy myself for a few hours. It was already midnight. The club staff were helping to escort out the remaining drunk patrons who didn't want to leave. The music had been shut down, drink orders stopped, and they were even taking drinks from those still lazing around. I was helping out until the room cleared and then started waiting for Sarah. Some of the staff began leaving one after another, saying goodbye. I found myself sitting at the counter with Tom. So, Maggie, he said, attempting small talk, you're not from around here, huh? Yeah, not far from here. From a bit far away, I replied, trying to keep my tone casual. Okay. You know, I like to know a lot about my employees. We're like a family here. You don't mind me prying into your story, do you? He asked, pouring a drink for both of us. I didn't know Tom was the kind of person to want to dig into my past. The last thing I wanted was for someone to uncover my real story, but I had already prepared an airtight narrative just in case. No, I don't mind, I said, taking a sip of my drink. I moved here for a fresh start. Things weren't working out back home, and I needed a change. I've been doing odd jobs to make ends meet, and now I'm just trying to get on my feet. He nodded, seeming genuinely interested. I get that. Sometimes you need a new environment to really find yourself. What kind of work did you do before? Mostly retail and some office work. Nothing too exciting, I said, sticking to my story. Well, I'm glad you ended up here. You seem like a hard worker, and we need more people like you, he said with a warm smile. Thanks, Tom. That means a lot, I replied, feeling a bit more at ease. So, tell me about you, I asked Tom, trying to change the subject and stop him from prying into my past. Nothing to tell. I came here in my teen years with my parents, who are both deceased right now. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Anyway, I came here and I stayed back here because my parents are here. We decided to buy them here, so I've been here. And then I decided to open this business. Well, it wasn't my first one. I tried a few businesses. Some died, some are still alive, but this is my greatest accomplishment, he says, looking around the nightclub. That's very inspiring. Well, not really. I had a lot of money from my trust fund and the inheritance, so yeah, they helped. It took me a while, though, trying to find my footing and my place in the world because I was a wild child. So yeah, it took me time and a lot of failed businesses. It took me a long time. I feel like it was right for me to actually get to do something I liked and something that was for people. So I don't know if it's inspiring, he says. And yeah, it's inspiring. I wish I could open a few failed businesses with the money I'm getting. I mean, I'm not judging right now. I think I'm a bit drunk too, I say, finishing my glass as Tom pours us another. As we keep talking, Tom tells me about his childhood. It's really funny and engaging, and I'm having a lot of fun as we continue to drink. Before I knew it, the bottle we were sharing is gone. As Tom goes behind the bar to get another bottle, I suddenly ask, now tipsy and moving towards drunk, "Where's Sarah? She should have been back by now." "You were waiting on Sarah?" Tom asks. "Yes, she's my ride." "Well, I saw her leave with her boyfriend a couple of hours ago." "She has a boyfriend?" I was surprised and confused that I didn't know this type of information about her. Tom looks at me with a weirdly surprised expression on his face. "And the two of you are friends?" "Yeah, she has a boyfriend. Don't you know him? His name's Mike?" You don't know this? You don't know him? No, I don't. And you two are friends, he asks with a raised eyebrow. I mean, we are, but it's kind of new. It probably just never came up. We're not that close. How long have you been here? How long have you known Sarah? He asks me as he pours me another drink and gets closer. I guess I've known her ever since I got here. We met at work. At work? Yeah, at the diner. Oh, you work with her at the diner? Yeah, and that's how she told me about here. If she's not here, I should probably go. No, it's okay. It's fine. He looks at his watch. It's past midnight. I'll take you home. Just let me make sure everything is in order, and then I'll give you a ride home if that's okay. I ponder this for a few minutes, but he looks so innocent. He's never given me creepy vibes, and so I agree. Okay, fine. Okay. Just continue having a drink there, and I'll be back in a jiffy, he says as he starts looking at everything, making sure things are closed, and then he goes back into his office. By the time he gets back, I think I have finished the glass I was drinking, and I don't think I feel so good. I am, to put it lightly, drunk. I see visions of Tom coming next to me. Hey, are you good? Yeah, I'm fine, I think. I laugh, then say again, oh, there I go. The drink has got into my head. Okay, did you come with a coat or anything? Tom asks, looking over me. Yeah, I have my jacket. I don't know where Sarah put it, I say, trying to look around. It must be in the staff closet, Tom says. Let me go and get it. He heads to the back and then comes back with my jacket and helps me put it on. Are you sure you're okay? I am fine, Tom, I tell him, slurring and elongating the words. Okay, if you say so. And then I hear myself chuckling. I can't seem to control myself. What is it? Tom asks, laughing along with me. Are you okay? Yeah, I mean, I'm just so happy, I find myself saying. Why am I saying this? I want to stop, but I can't help it. I'm just so happy right now. Tom laughs. Okay, it's good if you're happy. So, should we go? Let's have one more drink, I find myself saying, and then I stop myself. No, we should probably go. Yeah, we probably should. If you have another drink, you're going to black out. And just like that, I don't know what happened next. I wake up the next morning in an unfamiliar bed. It's too soft and too inviting to be the bed I've been using for the last week. I have spent nearly 3 weeks away from Edward, and I don't know why, but every time I still wake up, the first thing I think about is him. At first it's fear, but then I kind of miss him. It's crazy to want something that nearly killed me, but then my mind goes back to the present. Why is this bed so soft? I open my eyes and find myself in an unfamiliar room. It's too grand. The room is spacious with high ceilings and elegant decor. The bed I'm lying in has a plush duvet and numerous pillows. I sit up slowly, feeling the lingering effects of last night's drinking. My head throbs slightly, and my mouth is dry. I look around, trying to make sense of my surroundings. There's a large window on one side of the room, with heavy curtains partially drawn, letting in a soft, diffused light. The furniture is polished wood, and there's a large mirror on one wall. A dressing table with an ornate chair sits against another wall, and a door stands ajar, leading to what I assume is an ensuite bathroom. I take a deep breath and swing my legs over the side of the bed, my feet sinking into the thick carpet. As I stand up, I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror. My hair is tousled, and I look slightly disheveled. I look next to me, towards the bed, and release the breath I didn't know I was holding to find that there is nobody sleeping next to me. I immediately start relaxing as I release my breath like, oh, thank God. But before I finish the words from my mouth, suddenly a man walks from the slightly ajar door that leads to the bathroom. He is still wet, only in a towel to show that he was taking a bath. When the man looks up and our eyes meet, I see that it's Tom, my boss at nightclub Z. As we keep staring at each other in silence, the pieces start falling into place and I realize what happened yesterday night. Before I know it, I find myself saying, no, 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 no. Hey, come down, relax, relax. I hear Tom saying as he rushes to on the bed and puts his arms around me. His touch only makes me panic even more. I push him away forcefully, stumbling off the bed in a frenzy. Tears blur my vision as I scramble to pick up my scattered clothes, my mind swirling with confusion and panic. I don't know what I'm doing, but I have to get out of here. Hey, Maggie, Maggie, Tom keeps calling after me, now sitting on the bed. Can we talk for a minute? I can't bring myself to respond. I shake my head vigorously, my chest heaving with sobs. Grabbing whatever clothes I can find, I snatch my bag from the nearby chair along with one of my shoes and bolt out of the room. In the hallway, the enormity of the house hits me. It's a maze, and I feel disoriented as I rush in the opposite direction. I get turned around a few times, but eventually I spot a staircase leading downstairs and a door that must lead outside. Tears still streaming down my face, I hurry to the top of the stairs and hastily pull on my clothes over what I'm already wearing. I run down the stairs, my heart pounding, and burst through the door into the cool night air. As I walked along the unfamiliar road, surrounded by towering houses and imposing fences of a gated community, I felt utterly lost. This wasn't just any neighborhood. It exuded wealth and seclusion, leaving me disoriented and unsure of where to go. The enormity of the houses and the intimidating gates only added to my confusion. I rifled through my bag in a panic, searching desperately for my phone, but it was nowhere to be found. Tears stung my eyes as I tried to piece together the events of last night. Did Tom take advantage of me? The thought sent shivers down my spine. Mingling with regret and self-reproach, my thoughts drifted to Edward, capturing my anguish. How could I have let this happen? This wasn't who I was. I had never been in such a situation before, and the shame weighed heavily on me. Suddenly, a car slowed beside me, and my heart sank as I recognized Tom behind the wheel. I clenched my jaw, refusing to meet his eyes. "I don't want to talk to you," I said firmly, my voice trembling with emotion as I quickened my pace. "Hey, Maggie, can we talk for a few minutes like adults, please? I can't let you leave like this. It's not right. We should talk," Tom pleaded from the car. "What's not right is what you did to me," I shot back, my accusation laced with anger and hurt. "I didn't do anything, Maggie. Stop," he called desperately, but I ignored him, increasing my speed to put more distance between us. Tom parked the car abruptly and began running towards me, but I was determined to get away from him. When I saw him getting closer, panic surged through me, and I bolted. He chased after me and swiftly caught up, turning me around gently as tears continued to fall, my body trembling with fear and adrenaline from the recent events. "I really need you to listen to me," Tom implored, gripping my arms firmly and shaking me lightly. "Can you hear me, Maggie? I need you to listen to me." "What do you want, Tom? What do you want?" I screamed at him, my voice cracking with emotion. "Just leave me alone, okay?" I pleaded, trying to pull away from his grasp. "You said what I did wasn't right. What did you mean by that?" Tom asked urgently. "What do you think I meant? What happened last night?" I shouted back, my mind racing with confusion and hurt. He released his hold on me and ran his hands through his hair in frustration. "Listen, Maggie, we were both drunk last night. I was drunk. We were both drinking, okay? And then you came on to me. You're a beautiful girl. We can't deny that," Tom explained earnestly. "And then, what happened, happened. But I did not force myself on you. I need you to understand," he pleaded, his voice wavering with emotion. I stood there, breathing heavily, trying to process Tom's words amidst the chaos in my mind. His explanation felt like a whirlwind of conflicting emotions: confusion, anger, and a lingering sense of vulnerability. The night flashed before my eyes in fragmented memories, blurred by alcohol and regret. "But I didn't want this," I finally managed to say, my voice barely above a whisper. "I didn't want any of this to happen." Tom's expression softened, his eyes searching mine with genuine concern. "I know, Maggie. I know," he replied softly, his hands dropping to his sides. "And I'm sorry if it seemed like I took advantage of you. That was never my intention." I struggled to hold back tears, feeling overwhelmed by the weight of the situation. "I trusted you," I murmured, more to myself than to him. "I trusted you as my boss, as someone I thought I knew." Tom reached out tentatively, as if unsure if I would accept the gesture. "Maggie, please," he pleaded gently. "Let's talk about this. Let me explain everything." Part of me wanted to run, to escape the uncomfortable reality that now hung between us. But another part, a small voice of reason, urged me to listen, to understand his perspective. With a deep breath, I nodded slowly, signaling that I was willing to hear him out. Tom exhaled audibly, relief evident in his eyes. "Thank you," he said softly. "Let's find a quieter place to talk. There's a community cafe a short distance from here. We can just walk there if you're not comfortable in the car, Tom suggested quietly. I nodded in agreement, and we walked with a noticeable distance between us, each lost in our own thoughts, avoiding eye contact. Upon arriving at the cafe, we chose a table outside, away from the bustling activity of other patrons. Tom ordered coffee for both of us, and as we settled down, he asked with genuine concern, "How's the headache? I had some pills and water for you, but with your sudden departure, I couldn't give them to you. Would you like me to go get something for you?" "No, it's fine," I replied softly, though internally I hesitated at the thought of accepting anything from him right now. We sat in silence, sipping our coffee, until Tom broached the subject again. "Do you really not remember anything that happened last night? The way you flirted, how we danced, and you convinced me to turn on the music at the nightclub? The kiss? Everything? Nothing at all?" His voice was filled with a mix of concern and uncertainty. I stared down at my coffee cup, struggling to piece together the fragmented memories from the previous night. I don't know," I admitted quietly, feeling a knot of confusion tightening in my chest. "It's all a blur." Tom sighed heavily, his expression troubled. "Maggie, I didn't want things to be like this," he said earnestly. "I care about you, and I would never want you to feel like I took advantage of you." I nodded slowly, tears welling up again despite my efforts to stay composed. I don't know what to think," I confessed, my voice barely audible. "I understand," Tom replied gently, reaching out hesitantly to touch my hand before pulling back. "Let's take this one step at a time. I want to explain everything if you'll let me." I nodded again, uncertain of where this conversation would lead, but knowing that understanding the truth was crucial to moving forward. The cafe offered a quiet refuge for us to unravel the events of the night before, and I owed myself to find out what happened. "First of all, I want you to know that I am terribly sorry about all of this," Tom began, his voice filled with genuine remorse. "I really didn't expect this to turn out this way. I genuinely thought you were into it, and if there was any doubt in my mind that you weren't, I never would have let things progress to where they did today." He paused, looking at me earnestly, hoping for some understanding. I could only manage a tight-lipped smile in response, unsure of how to process everything that had transpired. The memories of yesterday floated hazily in my mind, fragmented and unclear. "Yesterday, I remember telling you to take it easy on the drinks," Tom continued, his tone softening as he recounted the events. "And later, as we were leaving, you passed by the dance floor and suddenly started dancing. You were so happy, insisting we turn on the music. You said you hadn't felt that happy in a long time, and I couldn't resist indulging you. I played the music, and you danced while I sat and watched." He paused, searching my face for any sign of recollection. "Are you sure you don't remember any of this?" he asked again gently, his eyes reflecting a mix of hope and uncertainty. As he spoke, a fleeting memory flickered through my mind, a glimpse of myself dancing and laughing. It was there, yet distant, buried beneath the haze of the night. But I shook my head slowly, unable to grasp onto the memory fully. "I don't," I murmured softly, feeling a pang of frustration at my own blurred recollection. Tom sighed heavily, his shoulders slumping slightly with disappointment. "I understand," he said quietly, his voice tinged with regret. "I wish you did." Silence settled between us, thick with unspoken words and unanswered questions. "And then what happened?" I asked, breaking the heavy silence that hung between us. "And then, as we were dancing, you came next to me, started dancing around me, and we were having a good time," Tom began hesitantly. "Then you told me to dance with you. I refused at first, but then you pulled me up, and we started dancing together, and—" He paused, his voice trailing off slightly. "Then the kiss happened," he admitted sheepishly, his gaze shifting away from mine. I swallowed hard, trying to process his words and the flood of emotions they stirred within me. Memories flickered faintly in my mind, fragments of a night blurred by alcohol and confusion. I don't remember," I finally managed to say, my voice barely above a whisper. The weight of uncertainty settled heavily upon me, mingling with a growing sense of unease. Tom nodded slowly, his expression a mix of regret and understanding. "I understand," he murmured softly. "I shouldn't have assumed. I should have been more careful." "It's okay, Tom." I guess I shouldn't also be blamed for what's happened," I said, trying to find some common ground. No, 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 he interrupted me, but I stopped him. And then what happened? I need to know everything. Tom took a deep breath. Well, I can tell you everything, detail by detail, but I'll give you the gist. After the kiss, things got heated, hence why we're here. I think I should just be honest. When he finished, I looked up and straightened in my seat. Be honest about what? I asked, unsure. I'm attracted to you, he admitted. I widened my eyes as I remembered what Sarah had said to me the other day, but I shook my head. Ooh, Kay, I finally answered. And so, when things got where they were, I really thought you were into it. I'm feeling like such a jerk because after I asked you if you wanted to go to my place, you said, yes, of course I want to. And then we went to my car and then to my house. When we got there, something told me this wasn't right, so I asked you, are you sure about this? And you said, yeah, I'm sure. I want to forget about Eric, Enric, Ed, something. I'm sorry, I forgot the name. I was a bit out of it too. So to put it in a nutshell, that's what happened until this morning when you bolted. I take a deep breath, trying to remember what happened. I only have fragments of pieces of me dancing, smiling in the car with him, but I don't know. It's all a blur. I really don't know what happened, and I don't want to blame him for something when I'm not sure that he actually did do so. I'm not going to throw any accusations right now, but I really need some breath and to piece my mind together, so I tell him, okay, I understand. Thank you for talking to me through it. No, you don't have to thank me for anything. I mean, wait, I remembered there are security cameras at the nightclub. We can go there right now and you can look at the video. I really don't want you to think I would do such a thing, what you just accused me of. I can't even say it. That's how scared of it I am. There are security cameras at the nightclub. Please, let's just go there right now and just look at them to make sure what I'm telling you is true, because I would hate for you to leave here with that mindset, Tom says to me. And he looks so innocent and honest. And I kind of feel bad about the accusations I threw at him, and I don't know what to answer to this. It's fine, Tom. It's okay, I said, trying to soothe the tension. No, please, I insist. If you don't want to get in the car with me, I can call you a taxi. You can call a friend, Sarah, to come pick you up. We can go to the club and look at the video. It's okay. I believe you, I responded, though my voice betrayed my uncertainty. But you don't remember, and I can see it in your face. You don't believe me. I can't. I respect women. I respect you. I can't. I can't, he said, shaking his head as he took his phone out of his pocket. It's really fine. I insisted, trying to keep my composure. No, you need a friend right now, Tom countered, dialing a number on his phone. Hey, Sarah. Yeah, I'm here with Maggie. Can you come to the Temple Cave? Yes, she kind of needs a ride and a friend right now. I will owe you if you can do this. Okay, fine. Please make it quick. He ended the call and put the phone back in his pocket. It's a good thing she was close. She was in town, so 5-7 minutes she'll be here. You need a friend right now, and I need you to believe me. So please, just humor me. You are really upset, and I just want to clear your mind. And mine too, because I feel so bad. No, I really don't want you to feel that way, I interrupted, but he cut me off. Let's just clear this, he announced, not leaving room for negotiation. We sat there in silence, the minutes stretching on as we waited for Sarah to arrive. The weight of the situation hung heavily between us, but for now, there was nothing more to say. A few minutes later, Sarah pulled up in her car. Stepping out, confusion was evident on her face. I knew she had questions about why Tom and I had called her, why he had mentioned I needed a friend, and why we were suddenly heading to the nightclub. Hey, guys! Sarah greeted us, her curiosity piqued as she approached. She glanced between Tom and me, clearly seeking an explanation. Tom, Maggie, everything okay? She asked, her concern growing. Yeah, everything's fine, Tom replied calmly. Maggie just needs a ride to the club. We need to go there right now. Sarah raised an eyebrow. To the club? Right now? Don't you have your shift at the diner? What's going on? It'll only take 5 minutes, Tom assured her, standing up abruptly. He didn't look at me as he headed straight towards the parking lot. Just give me a quick call to say you'll be late. Let's get this done. Realizing he'd parked his car awkwardly, Tom corrected himself. I'll grab my car. Meet us there, okay? With that, he turned and left. Sarah watched him leave, visibly perturbed. She turned back to me, her expression questioning. Maggie, what's happening? Why are you with Tom, and what's with the nightclub? What are we going to do there? Did you forget something? It's a long story, I sighed, motioning for her to join me in the car. Let's talk on the way. I'll explain everything. We climbed into Sarah's car, the air thick with unanswered questions and tension. As she started the engine, I struggled to find the right words to explain to her about what had happened. But as we headed towards the club, I couldn't shake the anxiety building inside me. If we were going there, we would likely see the video. Tom would probably explain what I had accused him of. The situation was spiraling out of control, and with Tom involving more people, it felt like it was getting worse by the minute. I needed to stop dwelling on my own actions and focus on this new mess with Tom. It was exhausting and overwhelming. So what happened? What's going on? Sarah asked, her voice filled with concern as she glanced at me while driving. I don't know how to tell you this, Sarah. Please, I pleaded, feeling the weight of the confusion and guilt pressing down on me. What's happening? You seem so serious. You're scaring me. Is this about last night? Is it because I left you? Sarah asked tentatively. I'm sorry if I upset you. You're my friend. No, it's not that, I interrupted, unsure myself. Or maybe it is. I don't even know anymore. I'm so mixed up right now. I don't know what's real and what's not. Okay, take a deep breath, Sarah said gently, her voice soothing. Just take your time. Find the right words to tell me slowly. Relax. I'm here for you. Whatever it is, we can work through it together. As Sarah's words sank in, I closed my eyes briefly, gathering my thoughts. I knew I had to explain everything to her, starting from the beginning, to make sense of the tangled mess that had become my life. As Sarah drove towards the club, I struggled to gather my thoughts, mustering the strength to begin telling her what had happened. I stayed behind with Tom last night after the party, I began, my voice wavering. I didn't realize you had left, and he was finishing up closing the club. When I found out, he offered to give me a ride home, so I stayed to let him finish closing up. We started talking, drinking, and then things just got confusing from there. Confusing how? Sarah asked softly, her concern palpable. I can't remember what happened last night, I admitted, feeling a mix of embarrassment and unease. I don't think I blacked out because I remember being there, but I just can't recall the details. You don't remember anything at all? Sarah asked, her voice tinged with worry. What did Tom say happened? Well, Tom said that we drank, danced, had fun, and then we kissed, I murmured, feeling a knot tighten in my stomach. Sarah frowned, absorbing my words. Okay, and then? And then he said things escalated, I confessed, feeling the weight of the truth settling between us. We slept together. Sarah's eyes widened in surprise and concern, her grip tightening on the steering wheel. She took a deep breath, processing the revelation. The silence in the car was heavy with the weight of what I had just confessed. Sarah looked at me with a mixture of concern and curiosity, then shifted her gaze back towards the road. So how are you feeling right now? She asked gently. To tell you the truth, I don't know, I admitted, feeling a swirl of conflicting emotions. Tom insists it was consensual, and he looks so sure, so innocent. But after what I've just accused him of and the fact that he's my boss, I'm just so confused right now. Yeah, forget about that, Sarah replied, her concern deepening. But how do you really feel? Are you okay? I'll tell you the same thing, Sarah. I don't know, I confessed, feeling lost in a maze of uncertainties. I don't think if I was in my right mind I would have done that. But then I don't think I have anybody else to blame but myself. I said, nearly tearing up. No, don't blame yourself, Sarah insisted, her voice firm yet gentle. You're in a tough spot, Maggie. It's okay not to have all the answers right now. You know what? Let's just relax for a minute, Sarah suggested after a pause. Why are we even going to the club anyway? I took a deep breath and began telling Sarah about what Tom told me, recounting the events as best as I could remember. She listened attentively, nodding her head as she processed the information. Okay, so we're going to the club to watch the video, Sarah summarized, her brow furrowed in concern. Are you sure you're ready to watch it, though? It might help clarify things, but it could also make things more confusing. Are you prepared for that? I hesitated, uncertainty gnawing at me. Watching the video meant confronting the truth, whatever that might be. Yet part of me feared what I might see and what it could mean for my understanding of that night. I don't know if I'm ready, I admitted quietly, my voice betraying my inner turmoil. But I need to know. I need to understand what really happened. Sarah nodded understandingly, her support a comforting presence. We'll take it one step at a time, Maggie. Whatever happens, I'm here for you. As we approached the club, I braced myself for the revelations that awaited, uncertain of what the video might reveal and how it would impact my already complicated life. When we reached the club, we found Tom waiting for us near the entrance of the parking lot. When he saw us, he got out of his car, and the three of us walked quietly, with tension in the air, towards the nightclub using the back door. Tom led the way straight to the CCTV room, where he went directly to the keyboards and started typing. Sarah and I stood together, watching him click through the videos, fast-forwarding until he got what he wanted. Okay, I've started it from when the two of us drinking by the bar, Tom said. Do you want Sarah here? I looked at Sarah, hesitated, and then nodded. Yes, if you don't mind. Well, it's not a problem for me. Come on, come and watch it. If you want me to let you watch it on your own, you can just watch it, and I'll be in my office, he said as he started to stand up. Tom, I tried to stop him, but he didn't listen and continued on his way out of the room. As the door closed behind him, Sarah and I turned our attention to the screen. The video had no sound. It was just the images playing out. The video showed us at the bar, talking and laughing. I saw Tom going to the back of the bar, pouring us drinks just as I remembered from the previous night. He came back, stopped me from taking another drink, put the bottles away, and asked for my hand. This was the part I didn't remember clearly. He offered his hand, I took it, got down from the bar stool, and we started towards the exit. The camera caught us on the dance floor. I stopped, tugged him back, and started talking to him. He looked reluctant, but eventually went up to the DJ booth. There were lights, and I assumed music because I saw myself dancing on the dance floor. Can you fast forward that? It's really weird seeing myself dance like that, I said to Sarah. She agreed and fast-forwarded the video until I saw myself heading towards Tom. Stop, I told her. She stopped and played the video. I saw myself tugging Tom, who looked reluctant but eventually agreed. We danced and later kissed just as Tom had said. I couldn't watch it anymore. I closed my eyes and told Sarah, okay, stop it. Just stop it. I had seen enough. The reality of the situation hit me hard, and I couldn't bear to watch any longer. I bolted out of the CCTV room and ran outside, needing to escape the overwhelming emotions and the truth revealed by the video. All that Tom said was true. Everything. And the things I accused him of, and what I let happen last night, all came crashing down on me. I don't know why, but among all of these things I was regretting, I could still see Edward's face in front of me. And I can see how disappointed he would be that just a few weeks after I had left him, I had already been with another man. I just felt like I had betrayed him, like I had cheated on him somehow. Although I knew that I was single and I could be with anybody else, tears started streaming from my eyes and I couldn't help crying. Sarah came towards me and put me in her arms. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. Let it all out. Let it all out, she said as she comforted me. When I had calmed down a bit, she looked at me and said, well, at least Tom's good-looking, and he's tall, and he's rich, so at least he's a catch. Are you crying because he was a bad lay? She said jokingly, trying to cheer me up. I started laughing along with her as I told her, I don't know, I wouldn't know, I don't remember. Then we both were silent as we just stood there. I think Sarah realized that I needed this because she just took my hand and we stayed there silent for a few more minutes. After a while, I finally told her, come on. Let's go. I still have a shift at the diner. But she cut me off. I already called Mrs. Smith. I told her we'd be a few minutes late. She's fine. Yes, but it's already been so long. Let's just go. I need something to occupy myself. I'm going to keep thinking about this the whole day. I said, already made up my mind. Oh, okay, if you're ready. Yes, I'm ready. It will help me. Let's just go. Okay, fine, Sarah said as she took my hand, and the two of us started heading to the park again. But then Tom came behind us, opening the club's door and calling after us. Sarah, Maggie, hey, do you have a second? I looked toward Sarah. I don't know if I can face him right now. Can you deal with him? I told Sarah as I continued walking along. Sarah then turned toward Tom, who called after me. "Hey, Maggie? Maggie?" But Sarah went toward him as I got into Sarah's car. I could see them through the window. Sarah said something, and they seemed to be in disagreement, and then later, Tom walked away, and Sarah came toward me. She got in the car and said, "Sorry about that." But what did he say? What did he want? Did he fire me? Was he firing me? Sarah chuckled a bit. I couldn't tell what kind of laugh it was from her expression. No, silly. Why would he want to fire you? He just wanted to talk to you and make sure you were all right and that it helped you remember some things. But I told him you needed space, and he agreed to give you space. I understand not wanting to see him right now. Thank you, Sarah, for everything. No, don't thank me. I haven't done anything. Come on, she said as she started the car. When we got to the diner, I made a beeline for Mrs. Smith's office to apologize for being late. "No, it's okay, she assured me, her voice warm and understanding. Despite her kindness, I felt compelled to explain myself. I was still new, only a week into the job, and already worried about making a bad impression. Surprisingly, Mrs. Smith seemed to understand my anxiety and brushed off my concerns with a smile. I spent the rest of the shift doing everything I could to forget the tumultuous night I'd had. As I wiped down tables and took orders, I tried to focus solely on my tasks, pushing away the memories that threatened to overwhelm me. When my shift finally ended, I was startled to see Sarah waiting for me outside the diner. "Hey, I thought you had already left," I said, my voice tinged with surprise. "No, I thought you could use some company. But if you want to be alone, that's okay too," Sarah replied, her tone gentle and considerate. "It's okay." "No, it's fine. Maybe we could get some ice cream," I suggested, though my exhaustion was evident. "But after that, I'm so tired. I just want to get some rest." "Okay, come on. I know a great ice cream place, somewhere you'll love, and let me buy you dinner," Sarah offered, her eyes bright with determination. "Sarah, you've done enough. Please let me pay for my own dinner. You've been so kind to me," said. "You even helped me get this second job," I protested, feeling a wave of gratitude mixed with guilt. She looked down at her feet, her voice dropping to a near whisper. "I can't forget getting you that job. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have met Tom. And if I hadn't left you yesterday, I would have taken you home. If I hadn't left with Mike, then none of what happened last night would have happened. I really feel..." I stepped closer to her and placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "It wasn't your fault. I'm an adult. Those were my decisions. I don't want you to feel bad about it, okay? I'm really glad you're my friend and that you're here for me right now." Sarah looked up, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "Let's get ice cream, hot drops, and dinner. Then you can drop me off and let me sleep, okay? It's fine. You don't mind if we walk?" she asked hesitantly. "No, I don't mind. I would actually like that. It would really help me after being cooped up all day," I replied, feeling a small sense of relief. "Okay, let's go," Sarah said, and we started heading down the street together, the weight of the day's troubles slowly lifting as we walked side by side. As we walked, the cool evening air helped clear my mind. The rhythmic sound of our footsteps on the pavement was soothing, a steady background to our conversation. "How have you been holding up?" Sarah asked gently, breaking the silence. I sighed, the weight of the past few days pressing on me. "It's been crazy. I just feel so overwhelmed. But having you here helps. I really appreciate it." Sarah nodded, her expression understanding. "I'm glad I can be here for you. And remember, it's okay to feel overwhelmed. You're dealing with a lot." We continued walking, the neon lights of the city casting colorful reflections on the wet pavement. The ice cream shop Sarah had mentioned came into view, a quaint little place with a retro vibe. We stepped inside, the bell above the door chiming softly. "What flavor do you want?" Sarah asked, glancing at the menu. I scanned the options, feeling a hint of excitement. "I'll go with cookies and cream." Sarah smiled and placed our order. We sat down at a small table by the window, the comforting ambience of the shop wrapping around us. As we enjoyed our ice cream, I found myself relaxing more. The familiar taste and the company of a good friend made me feel a little more grounded. Sarah kept the conversation light, talking about funny moments from work. When we finished, Sarah insisted on paying despite my protests. "Consider it my treat," she said with a wink. We left the shop and continued our walk, heading toward a cozy diner that Sarah promised had the best hot drops and comfort food in town. The streets were quieter now, the bustle of the day giving way to the calm of the evening. At the diner, we settled into a booth and ordered dinner. The food was delicious, and the simple act of sharing a meal with a friend felt incredibly comforting. We talked about everything and nothing, our conversation flowing easily. As we finished eating, I felt a wave of exhaustion wash over me. "I'm really tired, Sarah. I think I need to get some rest." Sarah nodded. "Of course, let's get you home." We walked back to my place, the streets now almost empty. When we reached my door, I turned to Sarah and hugged her tightly. "Thank you, Sarah, for everything." She hugged me back. "Anytime. Get some rest, okay?" I nodded and watched her walk away, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. Inside, I collapsed onto my bed, my body heavy with fatigue. But for some reason, I couldn't fall asleep. My mind was racing, unable to calm down despite the comfort of my bed. The day had been exhausting, but sleep wouldn't come. It felt stupid, really. Here I was in my own quiet space, and yet my thoughts kept drifting back to Edward. It was as if his memory was pulling me in, making it hard to focus on the present. No matter how hard I tried to push him out of my mind, he kept coming back. I kept replaying old conversations and wondering if things could have been different. Even with everything that had happened lately, his absence still felt very real. I tossed and turned, trying to find a comfortable position, but nothing worked. The quiet of the night and the soft sounds outside only made me more aware of how much I missed him. I hoped with time I could one day forget about him and he would become a distant memory. Tuesday was uneventful. I was still wrestling with my actions and what had happened. I was exhausted, without a stable job and unsure of what to do next. I spent hours searching for jobs online and in magazines, but nothing turned up. It was driving me crazy. On Wednesday, as we were about to check out, Sarah approached me. "So hey, how are you feeling about work tonight?" "Tonight?" I asked, confused. "Yeah, at the nightclub. I thought you might still have some feelings about it." "Oh, I'm not going back there." Sarah nodded thoughtfully. "Yeah, I kind of figured you wouldn't want to go back right now." "Yeah, I mean, after what happened with Tom and the accusations, he's my boss. I just don't think I can go back. I wouldn't know how to face him or how to act. It's not a good environment for me right now." Sarah looked concerned. "Tom seemed more worried about you than anything else. I don't think he's expecting you to come back, though." "I don't think he's expecting me either. I mean, maybe he's worried about what happened between us, but after everything I've accused him of, it feels weird to go back. I don't think he'd be expecting me." "All right, so what's your plan for finding a second job?" Sarah asked. "I don't know. If you hear about anything, just let me know, okay? Of course, you'll be the first person I call. I'll ask around and maybe the girls at the club know something. I am really sorry about everything." "It's not your fault, Sarah. Really. I would feel worse if you blame yourself for what happened." "Cool. See you tomorrow?" "See you tomorrow?" I said. We shared a cheek kiss and she walked towards her car. I walked a few minutes toward my apartment, the place I thought I'd be moving out of in 2 weeks, but now everything had changed. I woke up at midnight, unsure of what had disturbed my sleep. Groggy, I stumbled to the kitchen for a glass of water. As I reached for the glass, my phone began ringing. It was an unknown number. I hesitated. Nobody had my number, but Sarah, Mrs. Smith, Tom, because of work. Could it be Tom? If it's him, I really don't want to pick up, so I don't pick up the phone, so I let it go to voicemail. Early the next morning, my phone rang again. It was Sarah. "Hey girl, you're alive," she said, her voice cheerful. "I'm alive. What's up?" "I tried calling you yesterday. Didn't you see my call?" "Oh, I didn't. There was just this unknown number calling me. I thought it might be Tom, so I didn't pick up." "That must have been him. He was so disappointed when I told him you weren't coming back to work. He actually expected you to return." "Really?" I asked, surprised. "Yeah, Tom's a really cool guy. I knew he wouldn't hold what happened against you. You were drunk and had forgotten everything? You acted normally? I knew he'd be cool about it." "Maybe he's cool about it, but I'm not sure he'd be comfortable with me returning after everything that happened. He was probably just trying to ease his guilt." "Maybe. But he really wanted you to call him back." When I left, he kept telling me to tell you that your position is still available and he wants you back. He said he'd feel even worse if you lost the job because of him and what happened between you two. I don't know, Sarah. I think it's best for both of us to just move on and leave this in the past. Okay, I just wanted to let you know. He called me to check on you and see if you were okay. She chuckled a bit. What's so funny? I know you don't want to hear this, Maggie, but I really think Tom likes you. Not this again. See you later. Okay, see you later, Sarah said before hanging up. I sat there for a few minutes, mulling over the conversation. Eventually, I decided to make some breakfast and get myself ready for work. In the morning, I went through my usual routine. Arriving at work, heading to the stockroom, putting my things in the locker, donning my apron, and finally walking to the dining room. To my surprise, I found Tom sitting at a table near the front, a coffee cup in front of him. A girl from the diner, Mary, approached me. Hey, Maggie, Tom's here. He wanted to see you and asked if you could come over when you arrived. He didn't order anything, so I just brought him coffee. Do you think you could check in with him? I bit my lip, unsure. I hadn't expected to see Tom here, or anywhere else for that matter. I wasn't ready to face him. I took a deep breath and walked over to his table, forcing a smile. Welcome to Smith's Diner. What can I help you with today? Would you like to see the menu? Tom looked at me with a hesitant smile. Maggie, I'm sorry for coming to work like this. I didn't know where you lived, and I really wanted to see you. I figured if I came here, you'd feel safer in a public space. I took a deep breath, struggling to keep my composure. I'm sorry, Tom. I don't know what to say right now. I understand, he said. You've been avoiding me. I've called you and you haven't been answering. You didn't come to work, so I thought we needed to clear the air between us. Do you think you can spare a few minutes and sit down to talk with me? Tom asked, his voice gentle. It's still a quiet time, but if you're not ready to talk, that's fine. I'll leave. He covered his face with his hands, as if realizing he might have made a mistake. This was a wrong move. I shouldn't have come here. I probably look like a stalker and have alarmed you. As he began to stand up, I found myself reaching out and grabbing his hand. Tom, it's okay. Let me talk to my coworker. You're already here, so let's just talk and clear the air. Are you sure? I feel like I'm forcing things. I'm just used to things going my way, he said, his voice filled with uncertainty. I cut him off gently. It's okay. Just give me a few minutes because I just got to work. Okay, I'll just continue drinking my coffee. Could you also bring me some pancakes and sausages? Sure, I'll bring them over. No problem, I replied, giving him a reassuring smile. I went back to the kitchen, placed his order, and spoke to Mary about taking a few minutes to talk with Tom. I let Tom have his breakfast first before I went to sit next to him. We avoided each other's eyes, sitting in silence for a few minutes until Tom finally spoke. So, thank you for breakfast. You don't have to thank me. It's not free, I replied, trying to lighten the mood. Yeah, but the service was nice, he said, attempting to ease the tension. I gave him a kind smile. He looked like he wanted to apologize again, but I cut him off before he could start. You don't have to apologize. He raised his hand to stop me. I already feel guilty enough about what happened. It makes me question myself, thinking I might have taken advantage of you, given your condition. I'll probably always feel this way. Tom, I'm sorry, I said, feeling a pang of guilt. No, please don't feel sorry. When you feel sorry, I feel even worse. But I came here because you quit. Tom, I can't come back to work, I don't feel comfortable after everything that happened between us. I just can't. When Sarah told me you quit, knowing how much you needed that job, Tom begins. It's okay, Tom. No, it's not. I talked to Sarah and she told me how much you needed that second job. To know that I'm the cause of you losing your job makes me feel even worse. Please come back to work. No, Tom, I can't. I promise you, just have to pretend I don't exist. I won't bother you. You won't even see me in your peripheral vision. I'll stay 20 feet away from you. Please, just come back to work, he pleaded. Tom's plea hung in the air between us. I could see the sincerity and desperation in his eyes, and it made my resolve waver. Tom, I began slowly, it's not just about avoiding you. It's about how I feel right now. Everything has changed for me. I don't know if I can just go back and act like nothing happened. I understand, he said, his voice softening. But please, just think about it. You don't have to decide right now. Just don't let this be the end of your job there because of me. I sighed, feeling torn. I'll think about it, Tom, but I can't make any promises. That's all I'm asking, he said, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. And if you decide to come back, I'll make sure things are as comfortable for you as possible. You have my word. Okay, I nodded, standing up to leave. I need to get back to work now. Of course, he said, standing up as well. Thank you for listening. For the rest of the day, I couldn't shake off the conversation with Tom. His words echoed in my mind, and I found myself questioning my decision to quit. Maybe he was right. That evening, as I lay in bed, I realized that avoiding Tom and the job wasn't going to make things better. Facing the situation head-on might be the only way to truly move forward. I can't afford to lose this place that I just started making a home, especially since I had no money to create a new life now. The next morning I called Sarah. Hey, can we talk? Of course. What's up? I've been thinking about what you and Tom said. Maybe I should go back to work, just to see how it feels. I think that's a great idea, Sarah said, sounding relieved. I'll be there with you every step of the way. Thanks, Sarah. I'll see you tomorrow then. As I hung up the phone, I felt a mixture of anxiety and determination. Returning to the job wouldn't be easy, but it might be the first step toward finding some semblance of normalcy again. As I went to work at the nightclub that evening, I parked in the lot and stared at the building. I stayed in my car for 2 hours, summoning the courage to go inside. It was surreal to think that I had been here just the previous morning with Sarah, but now every step felt like a struggle. When I finally managed to get out of the car, I walked to the back entrance. I couldn't bring myself to go into the staff room, so I went straight inside. Seeing the bar and the dance floor brought back vivid memories of drinking and dancing. I just couldn't do it. I turned around and headed toward Tom's office instead. I knocked on his door and he let me in. As I walked inside, he was busy on his computer, but as soon as he saw me, he closed it and gave me his full attention, a bright, satisfied look on his face. I'm so glad you decided to come back to work, he told me, smiling warmly. I smiled back, but it felt tense. I don't know if I'm ready, I admitted, my voice wavering. Tom's expression softened. I understand. It's a big step, and I appreciate you being here. Just take it one step at a time. If you need anything, I'm here to help. Thanks, Tom. I wanted to let you know that But then I stopped. To his credit, Tom didn't say anything and let me continue. Thank you, Tom. You have been really wonderful about everything that has happened, but I can't come back to work. He looked at me, surprised. But I thought, are you sure? I'm sure, Tom. I just came to see you because I wanted to tell you that I don't think anything bad of you. You are a great guy and you have been a great boss to me. Although it's been a short time that I worked here, I wanted you to know that I appreciate all the help and how you've handled everything. But I can't work here anymore. Tom looked disappointed by my answer. I understand, he said slowly, trying to mask his disappointment. I respect your decision. It's important that you feel comfortable and safe. I'm just sorry to see you go. I really appreciate that, Tom, I said, my voice softening. It's not an easy decision, but I think it's the right one for me right now. If you ever change your mind, the door is always open for you, he said, managing a small smile. And if you need any references or help finding another job, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here for you. Thank you, Tom. That means a lot, I replied, feeling a mix of relief and sadness. I hope everything goes well for you and the nightclub. And for you too, Maggie. Take care of yourself. With that, I left his office, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders. It was a difficult decision, but I knew it was the right one. As I walked out of the nightclub for the last time, I felt as unsure as I was when I walked in a few minutes ago,